5 minutes goes by, and suddenly the noises that I thought were the furnace or just the house making creepy noises, I suddenly started to hear again. And it finally registered. It was my cousin Brian's footsteps coming up the stairs, which were now coming downstairs. So now I moved myself into the kitchen. I'm now looking between the entrance of the dining room and the other entrance to the kitchen, wondering which way he's going to come from. When he finally appeared, suddenly began this game of cat and mouse. We're running in circles, chasing me. Suddenly came to a point where he began hiding behind in the living room. Didn't know when he was going to pop out. So the next thought I had in my mind was, I'm going to go run and grab one of my little cousins and hold on to him. I'll use him as protection. Then he won't be able to abuse me. So as I make my mad dash to run up the stairs, he pops out around the corner, chasing right behind me, just as I get his brother's door open. He orders me to close it. Gets me, drags me back into his parents' bedroom, locks the door, and for the next 2.5 hours, begins to sexually abuse me again. Sitting there, finally got to a point where it just went away in my head because I knew that I got to this point of exhaustion. There was nothing more I could do, and I just had to take it and just pray that his parents would come home early. Every time I heard a car pass, would pray it would be his parents coming home. Constantly staring at the red numbers of the clock, every minute feeling like an hour. Staring at it, wondering, when is this going to be over? When is this nightmare going to end? Realizing I can never do this again. I will never babysit for my aunt again. And eventually, a little past midnight, I suddenly heard the garage door opening. They weren't supposed to be home till 1. They were suddenly coming home an hour early, and I was so relieved. He jumped up, and just before he made his exit, made a look at me and said, "This is our little secret. Don't tell anybody. If you tell anyone, you will destroy this family." He always had the constant same phrases when he left a room after abusing me to keep me silent, and walked off and went into his bedroom and pretended he was asleep. My aunt went ahead before dropping me off at home. So we pulled in my driveway, gave me an extra $10 for coming on such short notice. In the back of my mind just angered me even more because it was almost like this extra $10 in my mind thinking I was getting paid for what her son had just done. So I went into my bathroom that night and just sat there, just consumed with all this fear, crying, realizing I have to tell somebody. But who do I tell? How do I tell somebody this? No one's going to believe me because this has been going on for so long.